Okay, here we are. Hello, everybody. It's 9 o'clock on Wednesday. What day
Tuesday.
Tuesday night. Time for the Tuesday night special. At Home with Jim Dee. This is episode number 23. So we're getting we're getting up there in the numbers. We still need a few more numbers though on our what do you call it? The likes or the other one? Subscriptions. We need more subscriptions, but we're getting there.
We need more likes. We need more subscriptions.
Yes. And so we've had a pretty good week here. I don't know about you guys, but our week's been pretty good. We're trying to do this at the same time preparing for going on tour here in a couple weeks. And there's just not enough time in any one day for the things that need to get done. I've been working on building a new back porch with a friend of ours, and so there's always something going on. Anything you want to say hello? Whatever?
Hello, everyone. We are excited about going on tour. I've been talking to people today, various and sundry people, and some things are coming together.
She means we're still getting bookings.
That's right. Things are coming together. And
yeah, so we still have time. If you need us to come, let us know.
If
Hurry.
If you're from Texas straight up into Minnesota through anywhere in there. Yeah, we're excited. We're going to be leaving sometime right after the 4th of July, maybe the 5th or the 6th, depending on where we're going first, which is still in question.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be gone about a full month. Going to be going up into Minnesota. Going to be trusting God for lots of stuff.
Yep. Tonight's going to be tough for me because we picked out 3 songs because I can't do. I mean, I could do hours worth of material by the Zombies, which is our group that we're honoring tonight. But the hard part will be not talking about them too much because they're so special to me. They probably created my favorite album of all time, and
Mine too.
Yeah, and they're really close to. I mean, I don't know what bands I might like better, but they were just amazing, and they had very, relatively speaking, very little success commercially. Even though I bought everything I saw that said the Zombies on it, and I was never disappointed. Everything they ever did was really good, and I'll tell a little bit more about them. I haven't really thought ahead about this. I've been too busy getting ready. As always, trying to find new songs of ours to do that we have to. I have to make tracks for them all the time, and it's very time consuming. I'm not that fast in the studio, so. But we're gonna start off. Let's start with the other one. Let's start with the next one first, and then we'll go. Yeah, and then we'll come back to this one because this was the first song that I ever heard by the Zombies. This was their first hit here in the U.S. And we normally do this. We have another way that we do this song. We do this song in a mashup where we have this song along with a song by Linda Ronstadt, and we do those together. And I would like to do that, but this is really we're doing our deal tonight is for the Zombies, so we're going to stick straight with the Zombies. Wait, let me turn off this air conditioner. Hang on. Let's see which one. Yeah, too much noise. And so we're gonna start off with this one. I'm gonna try to, like I said, I'm gonna have to hurry to get through this because this is my favorite group probably, and one of my favorite groups for sure. And this was their very first big hit.
Way she lied. Well, no one told me about her. How many people cried? But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, and the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. no one told me about her. What could I do? Well, no one told me about her, though they all knew. And it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, and the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. Oh! But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, and the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there.
Woo! Love me some zombies.
Yep. That solo was played on the original record by one of the founding members. There was 5 original members. One of them was Rod Argent. Rod Argent was the guy who actually tried to put the band together. The story I recall is that he was going to be the lead singer in the band, and he was looking for a guitar player. And somebody who knew a guy named Colin Blunstone, who came to audition as the guitar player. And he came in and played guitar, and Rod was singing. And this was, I think they formed the band around 1961. And they practiced on equipment that they borrowed from Rod Argent's cousin, who was named Jim Rodford, who was already playing in another band. And they asked him if he would be in the Zombies, but he was playing in another band, and the other band was established and playing and everything, so he turned that down. But they had to borrow his whatever the place where he rehearsed and his equipment and everything, because they were a new band, they didn't have anything. During the break, in this hall where they were, there was a little piano sitting over there, and Rod sat down and started playing a song. As I recall, what I read was he started playing a song called. I can't remember the name. It's like Bumblebee Boogie or something. It's a song that was on the radio. It was a takeoff on the Flight of the Bumblebee, but it was a kind of a rockin' version. If you could probably look it up. Bumblebee. What is that called? I can't remember. I'll if I think of it, I'll find it.
Boogie?
No, I don't remember. I've got it on the computer there, but I'll find it if I can find it on the internet. I'll put a link to it tomorrow. And so he was playing, and Colin was blown away, going, "Man, that's amazing! Why aren't you playing piano in the band?" And it was like, well, rock and roll bands don't have pianos or keyboards. They all just have guitars. And in the meantime, Colin was sitting over in the corner strumming. I'm trying to think what's a song he was playing. There's a place where lovers go to cry their troubles away. I'd have to look it up, but it was something like that. It was some Ricky Nelson song. And all the guys in the band turned around and said, "Why are you playing guitar? You should be singing lead." And it was true. He should have been singing lead. Rod's a good singer, but Colin is just amazing. You can say what you can talk about Colin Blunstone singing.
Well, there's not much to say except he's probably my favorite male vocalist ever of all time.
Yeah.
Just has so much soul and control and breathiness and just amazing.
Yeah, look up Colin Blunstone. Maybe I'll put some links or something, but the guy just was an amazing singer. And we'll do another song before I talk a little bit more about the band. Now, did we change back to the other one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And they were quite a different band. They weren't like everybody else. And that was something that I always thought was cool. I loved originality. And this next song was their second song, and they really only had 3 hits in the U.S., and that's part of the sad story. But We'll do. Let me see. Remember how this one goes. This was their second hit. The first hit, by the way, was also a big hit for Santana. Santana did a cover of "She's Not There," and I know you can find that one online. Find a live version of Santana doing "She's Not There," and they rock it out pretty good too. But this one's called "Tell Her No."
And if she should tell you, come closer. And if she tempts you with her charms, I tell her no, 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 don't hurt me now, for her love belongs to me. And if she should tell you I love you, oh, and if she tempts you with a charm, tell her no, 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 let her love from your arms. No, 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 don't hurt me now, for her love belongs to me. I know she's the kind of girl to throw my love away, but I still love her so. Don't hurt me now, don't hurt me now. And if she tells you I love you, just remember she said that to me. Tell her no, 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 no. Take her love from my arms. No, 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 no. Don't leave me now, for your love belongs to me.
That was "Tell Her No." They were not right on the very first bit of the British invasion, but they came, I think, right like at the end of the year, near 64 or maybe early 65. They had those two hits. And then, as I said, they had other singles. And if I went into a record store and I saw something by the Zombies, I bought it. And I loved every one of them. And they never disappointed me with their songwriting, with their arrangements. They were always so original. I got my first Zombies album by trading. There was another musician in our school. His name was Chucky Verdugo. He was a guitar player. And he had a Zombies album. And he really wanted a Paul Revere and the Raiders album, which I had. And on a whim, I just traded him. And man, oh man, I thought I got the good end of that deal. He thought he got the good end of the deal, so that's all right. They just were so different, so unique. And they had so much going for them. It was hard for me as a kid to understand why they weren't huge. They apparently, things I've read, by the time they were doing stuff, trying to come to America, from what I've read, again, I don't know if this is true, but I read that they had a problem getting visas because there were so many British bands coming over, and I guess whoever gives out the visas, the American consulate or something, said, no, we don't. So they had a hard time getting here, so they couldn't. Now, they did come here early and do some stuff, but that was one of the problems they had. I read an article, I want to say it was Rolling Stone magazine or something, but in talking about Woodstock, which was a little bit later, 1969, they said this writer had seen the Zombies live, and apparently there had been some talk about them coming to Woodstock or whatever. Anyway, the writer said if the Zombies would have performed at Woodstock, people would have been coming away going, Crosby, Stills, and who? And I never got to see them in their original incarnation because they did very little traveling in America. They also weren't that, and as sad as that is, they weren't even that big in England. They just, for some reason, they didn't catch on, and they never really made a lot of big hits. They had one other hit that we that I won't even try to do because it's all organ driven. And it's Rod Argent was just this amazing organ player, and he just did. They did an album in 1967. They were actually the next band to go into the studios of Abbey Road. The next band after the Beatles, when the Beatles finished Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. They had been trying for several years now to get a break, and for whatever reason they just couldn't get that big break and make it, and they just decided they were going to break up, and so they thought, well, we'll do one more album, and this will be the best we can do, and then we'll just have to go find something else to do because we can't seem to make it. And they went into the studio and they did an album called Odyssey and Oracle. And the next song we're gonna do is a song. I think it's the opening song, isn't it? Off of Odyssey and Oracle. It was a song off of that album, and we're doing it even though I'm sure 99% of you have never heard this song. It's just such a good song, and they had so many good hits that it's kind of like when we did Billy J. Kramer. I just do the songs I want to on Tuesday night because there's no promoters telling me no, you got to do all the hits. But they did this album, and they had a very limited production cost. They had a very limited budget. They had roughly around $4,000 to do the album, which was just ridiculously. I mean, Brian Wilson did the song "Good Vibrations." Just one song, he had a budget of $20,000. So they didn't. So what they have to do when you're like that, you have to rehearse, be ready when you go into the studio to just do everything bang 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 really fast and just do it right and get it done. And they had finished all the songs they prepared. They had a little more studio time, and they actually needed one more song for the album. So they just threw this one together. Rod Argent wrote it and threw it. It was kind of like, not a throwaway in that sense, but I mean, it didn't really fit in with the rest of the album. It just stood on its own, and it was a song called "Time of the Season." That was a huge hit. However, what happened was they finished the album, and then they broke up. And the album was in England. It was on a label called Date, I think, or maybe that was the American one. No, I think in England it might have been in Columbia. It wasn't released in America in 1967. It wasn't released, and it wouldn't have been released if it hadn't been for the guy who was the founder of a band called Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Al Cooper. Al Cooper had gone to work for Columbia, I want to say Columbia Records, and he was in England, and he found a copy of the British album, Odyssey and Oracle, and brought it home and went back to Clive Davis or whoever was in charge of that company. I think it might have been Clive Davis. He went to him and said, "We have got to put this album out. This is the most amazing thing." And by this time, it was already a year and a half, 2 years old, and had never been heard really in America. And it just so happened, Clive or whoever it was that he said, actually, we already own the rights for that album. We've just never put it out. He says, "Well, put it out." And they put it out, and they put out the single. Now, back home in America where I was, I didn't know they had broken up. I just thought they must have taken some kind of hiatus, and I was thrilled when I heard "Time of the Season." And as soon as the album came out, I went and bought the album, and I was just flipped out. And it never really took off in America, other than that song. And it was about, from what I've heard Rod Argent say, we've been to see the Zombies a couple times. Well, we'll get to that later. But anyway, the album, after about 15 years,
Wow.
then the album started to pick up, started to sell, and every year since then it's like sold more and more, and it's just become this. It's almost like a cult classic. People discover it now and they go, "Holy smokes, this was in 1967!" Because it's so sophisticated, so amazing, and it's so upbeat, so joyful, so happy. And
I actually looking for pictures to put on the Facebook sites. Yesterday, one of the things I came across was a review, kind of a little description of who they were, and this guy said he thought because they were so sophisticated, because they were so good, that's why they didn't ever make it big.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's only sophisticated as think of it as sophisticated from a musician standpoint, from an arranger producer. But I don't know that it comes across as. There's some stuff that's really sophisticated. There's things that are out there that I listen to and I can appreciate them, but they don't do anything. They don't move me emotionally. Sometimes there'll be a nice arrangement, or today there's a lot of musicians who can play their scales really fast, and that's really impressive and everything. But it's not that musical. And these songs are just so musical, so wonderful. And I really encourage you to look for the album. Go buy it. Go buy the CD. Download it somewhere. It's called Odyssey and Oracle by the Zombies. My favorite album of all time.
I think just about every top 100 albums of all time.
It's always on there. Oh,
it's always somewhere near the top.
Yeah, it's always rated because the people, the music critics and stuff, people who are familiar with it and have heard it, they know how great it is. So I believe this song is the opening song from that album, and we're going to do it. We used to do this song a lot when our youngest daughter, Bree, was performing with us, and this used to be her song she used to sing. So Bree, if you're watching,
I'm stealing it.
Your mother's going to do it tonight, and it's a cool song. Again, a unique. They had sometimes very unique lyrics. This is a song. Now I used to think when I heard this song, it's called "Care of Cell 44," and it's a letter. It's a letter. I thought it was a letter from a woman to her man who was in prison and was getting out. And this was her way of saying, let's see if we can put our lives back together. However, I heard Rod Argent say this was actually a song about a woman who was in jail. And so it really makes the song stranger yet. But you can look at it any way you want. It is whatever you think it is. But it's such a neat song. And I wish we could do the whole album because I probably would. It's a whole album full of great tunes. Maybe we'll do that someday. Maybe we'll do
a lot of work.
Yeah, that would be a lot of work. But anyway, okay, let's go. We're yeah.
Good morning to you. I hope you're feeling better, baby. Thinking of me while you are far away. Counting the days until they set you free again. Writing this letter, hoping you're okay. Saved you the room you used to stay in every Sunday. The one that is warmed by sunshine every day. And we'll get to know each other for a second time. And then you can tell me about your prison stay. Feels so good, you're coming home soon. It's gonna be good to have you back again with me. Watching the laughter play around your eyes. Come up and fetch you, saved up for the train fare money. Kiss and make up, and it will be so nice. Feels so good, you're coming home soon. We're walking away we used to walk, and it could be so nice. Talking away we used to talk, and it could be so nice. It's gonna be good to have you back again with me. Watching the laughter play around your eyes. Come up and fetch you, saved up for the train fare money. Kiss and make up, and it will be so nice. Feels so good, you're coming home soon.
the good news. The good news is, well, the bad news was, of course, they broke up. The good news was Colin Blunstone, the lead singer, went on and had a very successful solo career in England and Europe, and I always bought all his albums. I bought imports. I even went to England one time and bought some albums that I couldn't find over here. Rod Argent went on to start a band, which you might guess it was named after his last name, Argent. And they had a few big hits in America. They had Hold Your Head Up and God Gave Rock and Roll to You, and a couple really big hits, and they played for a while and broke up. Rod continued to do music with things like orchestral stuff and film scores and things like that. But around, I want to say around 2000, 2002, somewhere in there, Rod was doing, and I know I shouldn't keep talking because we're running out of time, but
That's all right.
It's good. Rod was doing a benefit, I forget, a charity benefit of some kind. And Colin Blunstone came to hear him and was in the audience. And when he saw him, he called him up to do a song. And they played together. And they had so much fun. They said, we should do this again. And so they started playing. And again, early around 2002, 2003, something like that, they actually put together an album. It was Colin Blunstone and Rod Argent of the Zombies or something like that. And they put the album out. I found out about that and ordered that import album. It was amazing. It was really good. And they had such great response that they actually put together a touring band and started traveling and touring. And they've had more success now as a touring band than they ever had in the 60s. They continue to tour. I mean, I was looking for stuff today. I've seen stuff online as late as, early 2015 live videos, people with their cameras, and stuff. There's also some great live stuff that they've done on DVD that people have bootlegged and put on the internet. And they did these songs. They did some of these songs like this one we just did, and they actually it would have been 2007. They had a touring band, which was only the two of them. But in 2007, they did a thing where they got the other two remaining Zombies, Chris White, who was the original bass player, and Hugh Grundy was the drummer. The guitar player had died around 2002 or 2003 or something like that. He had a disease or something, and he died. But the remaining ones got together, and they did a tour because it was the 50th anniversary of Odyssey and Oracle. And they did a tour, and they did stuff in England, and you can find that tour on video. You can find that whole concert on they're just so good still. And so that's the good news. They got back together.
And the cousin who chose not to play
with them. And the cousin who chose not to play with it was, as I told you, his name was Jim Rodford. He became, actually, his biggest claim to fame was he played for over 20 years with the Kinks.
Wow.
He was a bass player for Ray Davies and the Kinks. But when they got back together, put their touring band together, they were able to get not only Jim Rodford to play bass, but Jim Rodford's son to play drums. So they'd have a real family thing. They got a cousin, two cousins, and a I guess you call him a nephew. Is that what he is? Yes. Is it
second cousin?
A second. Well, what would his son be? Is he a
son's a second cousin?
A second cousin, two cousins, a second cousin, and then of course the friend Colin. And they've had a couple different guitar players through this time. But if they come near your town,
we've been to see him a couple times.
We've been to see him. First time we drove for 7 hours to see him. So that's how badly I wanted to see him. And then the last time we saw him, they were in Dallas, so it was a couple hours we drove to see him. Really good, really good. Okay, your turn.
My turn?
That's all. That's all I'm gonna say about the zombies. I could play zombie songs all night and talk about them, but
you can tell we like the Zombies because we spent lots more time doing tribute to the Zombies than any other band we've done so far, and we like other bands. Okay, so. We are going to do a song that
gotta change guitars. Go ahead.
was written long ago in the early 90s, maybe, or before
80s.
that, late 80s. The song is actually one of the few songs that we did that we didn't write the music for.
The melody, just the chords and the
right. The chord progression, we have a friend named Ben Dowling. Hi, Ben, if you ever watch this, who worked at a music store with Jim during that time, and he gave Jim some things he was doing. And at a little later, I was playing that tape, going back and forth to work. I was just playing that tape all the time, and these words just started coming. It's like they were just there. And it's it's really different than just about anything we've ever done. Different kind of sound, and we like it a lot. I have to say that this song is, I don't know if I would say it's allegorical, but I'm not going to explain it because it may mean something different to you than I think it will.
Just finished this track up. I just finished mixing it this morning. I finished the guitar work yesterday, and we don't even know which one of us is really ought to be singing it. So you listen to it and you figure out. Maybe you can tell us who should be singing this one. But
it's kind of like
don't give anything.
It insinuates. It kind of reminds me of Tolkien or something. It's. I don't even know what to say about it. You'll just have to listen and tell us what you think.
Yeah, when you like us and subscribe to us, put what do they say? Put something in the comments down below. Yeah, that's right. I don't know, people always say that when I watch videos. So I guess you're supposed to say that. I don't.
What they say is, well, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, subscribe, and if you don't. Or if you want to get more of this, then subscribe.
Okay, well, whatever.
All right, here we go. This is like a big production.
Don't surrender, don't believe their lies. We've seen your signals through the wintry skies. 1,000 armies are on their way. You must guard the princess for another day.
I can see you in the distance, through the smoke and through the flame. But my hand is cleaving to my sword, and my shield arms hanging lame. I don't know how to reach you, but I know I've got to try to get this message through to you. Would God that I could fly.
Don't surrender, don't believe their lies. We've seen your signal through the wintry skies. 1,000 armies are on their way. You must guard the princess for another day.
When we started, we were 20 strong, and I the least of all. But as we met the enemy, my friends began to fall. With every last word spoken, we took a sacred vow to get this message through to you, Citadel, somehow.
I remember summer pleasures playing in your shadow, Citadel, running through the garden with her. Help me not to fail. Help me, Citadel.
have it.
That's it. Citadel. Do tell us what you think about that. We don't know what to do. That's obviously we've never performed that song anywhere. Anyway, we've never had a track to work with. We couldn't just do it with acoustic guitar.
However, it's one of those songs that for some reason feels prophetic to me. I can't. Every time I think of it, every time I'm in the car by myself, and I'm singing it, I get really emotional and weepy, and so I feel like it must mean something. And so. Tell us what you think, please. And maybe one of these days we'll put some vocals on it and put it up on the site.
Yep. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to do all that stuff you're supposed to about liking and subscribing and all that. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Blessings.
Hit the button. You got it.
Stop, I say.